Hi, welcome to the Property Show. I'm Jayashree Kurup. I'm editor MBTV, and we're talking about the Maharashtra government, which has cut stamp duty by 2%. Will this boost real estate demand? And this is discussing this issue with us are some of the legends in our industry. Dr. Niranjan Hiranandani is the national president, NAREDCO. Mr. Nayan Shah, president, CREDAI, MCHI. Virendra Joshi, VP Research, ANAROCK. Thank you so much for joining us. I'll start with Mr. Niranjan Hiranandani. Sir, something that we have been talking about for a while, what does it take to bring the consumer back to the table? Help us understand what are the repercussions of this cut in stamp duty.
First of all, heartiest congratulations to the Maharashtra government. It's a really an unprecedented, fantastic move done by the government to instigate demand side of the economy during this COVID period. And I think this is the first time it has happened in the country. Up till now, everything was on the supply side economics that was taken up both by the Prime Minister, the Finance Minister, and all actions taken were from the supply side economics. We have been demanding that there should be rationalization of stamp duty, and there should be rationalization of GST, and there should be rationalization of the charges which the municipal corporation, local authorities, and those which are doing in the state of Maharashtra. So the first step has definitely taken place, and we are delighted with this move. Let me also point out, Jayashree, to you that one other move which we are not giving credence to as much is that for the affordable housing segment, anyway, the stamp duty in Maharashtra has been brought down to 1,000 rupees only. So under the PMAY scheme, those houses which are coming into that segment, and I'm sure that Nayan Shah and Virendra will add on to whatever I have to say in terms of those benefits which are there. But those are the combined factors which are going to make a paradigm change in terms of the housing segment. So I think that's the wonderful part of the whole story. The second part of it is that you needed a driver to get people to buy the products. So this is going to be an important driver where people will feel that they are saving directly an amount of money. And it's extremely important during COVID times to instigate this demand. So that's the second most important thing that this reduction of stamp duty is bringing about. The third important thing about it is that it is a driver not only for the business, which is talking about from the developers and that, but it affects 69 other industries: steel, cement, paints, flooring, electrical, bulbs, lifts, etc. You talk about it, so there's a multiplier. And the most important of it all, the unemployment story is very big. And the second largest employer in India is real estate. So all this put together, I think the kickstarting of the stamp duty change which is taking place is really going to be beneficial for the developers, for the house purchasers, for the economy and the downstream economy. So Jayashree, wonderful thing which has come up today. We are all very, very happy about this whole story. Of course, it's a long way to go. We have lots of other issues that need to be done. You know, those charges in Mumbai, Maharashtra, which are there, some of the charges are so high that not a single flat can be affordable after you pay all those charges. So I think some rationalization there will be thing. But the joy today is so much. Let's not talk about the negatives.
Nayan Shah, help a consumer understand, deconstruct this move. And I would like to actually, before you answer, tell you that today one of the trending keywords is fence sitters. So help the fence sitters understand why this is a good time to get off the fence. You're on mute, Nayan, you're on mute.
Oh, yeah, thank you. Niranjan Bhai, Virendra, and everybody at Magic Bricks. First of all, I think we should all thank Deepak Parekh. A few months back, Shri Uddhav Thackeray ji appointed a committee under the chairmanship of Mr. Vijay Kelkar to suggest steps for revival of the economy in Maharashtra. And among everybody else was there, Mr. Deepak Parekh was given the role for the real estate. And both NAREDCO, MCHI, everybody made different representation. And I think Mr. Deepak Parekh came with this first suggestion. Top among all the list was, how do we kickstart the demand? And but for him, this would not have seen the day. He holds himself in so high esteem. So I think all of us must acknowledge his wonderful role that he played. Second, Jayashree, you are completely correct. It is the fence sitter. It is the fence sitter who will now jump, and seeing them jump, a lot of others will jump. Now, let me take this into two perspectives. I mean, Niranjan Bhai has explained on all the four things. See, real estate, if you take it as a pyramid, on the top of the pyramid sits the new buyer who comes to and buys a new house. And sitting below the pyramid is the entire world universe of real estate. Now, what happens is that like say, I sell my old car to buy a new car. There is always a replacement value to everything. In my experience, I don't know what Niranjan Bhai or Virendra has to say, only 15 to 20% people are such who buy the home from their own real money, that is without selling any asset. Whereas the rest 80%, they have to top up. So say for example, most of the people who come to me today, they say we have a house at Vikhroli, it's 1-room kitchen, we are migrating to 1 bedroom. 1 BHK is migrating to 2 BHK. Now with this 2%, what is going to happen is that the sale of the flat at the ready buildings which are 5 years, 10 years, 30 years, 40 years old, they will be bought and sold. Capital will arise, and that capital will be used to pay the new home. So I think the biggest benefit is going to come from there.
Absolutely.
That's point number one. Point number two, the government of Maharashtra has been very, very smart in coming out with the policy. As Deepak Parekh Bhai said, you put a sunset clause. So there is a sunset clause of 31st December. And there is a sunset clause for 31st March. So this is going to really push people out of their bed. You need something that you wake up in the morning and you say, "Mujhe abhi aaj ghar kharidna hai." So I think that's point number two. Point number three that I see, which is going to work a lot, is about, you see, what was happening is that a lot of builders are now going to do this. 3% reduction by government of Maharashtra, 3% reduction by the developer. So your 2% stamp duty is free. And those who are in affordable segment and have only 1% GST. So in other words, there is no transaction cost to the flat purchaser. So this is the third thing. Developers will come out with different incentives. And the fourth thing that I want to put across to you, that what Niranjan Bhai said was PMAY 1000. There is another silver lining into this, Niranjan Bhai, that wherever you have a real estate scheme in a rural area. So for example, I have a project at Asangaon, Khardi, or beyond Kalyan, Dombivli, Ambernath, or beyond Vasai Virar, say Palghar and all those places. They are all rural. Jayashree, there the stamp duty was currently 5% stamp duty and 1% Jilla Parishad tax. So registration was not 30,000, but 1% Jilla Parishad tax. So in those places, the reduction is 4%. So today, instead of 6%, you will have to pay only 2%, 4% reduction. Now 4% reduction in a 10 lakh flat is 40,000, which is a big, big, big amount. Maximum value in rural area is 20 lakhs. So 80,000 rupees difference is a very big thing. I most heartily welcome, after a long, long time, thanks to Uddhav Thackeray ji, thanks to the government, we have had some great news. And Jayashree, I have never seen you smiling so much, interviewing. Earlier you used to always feel tensed. कि ये सवाल पूछता हूं तो क्या जवाब दोगे? So everybody is smiling today, So thank you.
Actually, Virendra, tell me something. We've talked about the consumer, we've talked about the developer, we've talked about the industry. What about the government? Doesn't this, I have historically been saying that if you reduce the amount of taxation, the compliance goes up and there will be a lot more. We are predicting more transactions. State governments need more funds, right? Talk about that, please.
Sure. So firstly, good afternoon, Jayashree and all my fellow panelists, Niranjan Bhai and Nayan Bhai, and good afternoon to all the viewers. So as Niranjan Bhai and Nayan Bhai said, it's a fantastic move. We were expecting that this will happen with the efforts that the entire industry and the fraternity is putting in, and 2% is great. So Niranjan Bhai and Nayan Bhai have touched upon the aspects that developers will be benefited. We'll see fence sitters coming back into action. From the government side, yes, definitely it's a very big move because the revenue collections will go up now. Stamp duty is a major component of revenue for any government. And we have historically seen whenever there is a reduction in stamp duty, the revenues will go up. For the last few months, if I get my statistics correct, the revenue from stamp duty was significantly low because everything was locked down. Nothing was happening, no sale purchase transactions, no lease transactions, no offices, shops going on, for registration. So it's a great move, not only from the buyers and real estate developers perspective, but it will benefit the government also. And as Nayan Bhai said, that the sunset clause is beautiful because it's like having a sale in a mall, right? People are incentivized to make those deals faster. You don't have to wait until, okay, we'll see, maybe I will do more research, I will consult my family, my friends, and then finalize. Now there'll be an urgency to, close that transaction. And that's how I see the market being much more vibrant than what it was. Just to add a few data points, we have already seen a comeback in terms of inquiries. So we are almost 70-80% back to the pre-COVID levels. All our mandate sites across the country, as well as in Mumbai, Pune, we are seeing a huge comeback in inquiries. Also, the conversions are very good because only serious buyers who want to really make the deals happen are now out in the market. So with this extra push of a reduction in stamp duty, I think those conversions will be much more better than what they are now.
Mr. Hiranandani, are you seeing a demand for completed projects, no GST? That was one of the criteria that,
Jayashree, if you don't mind, I would like to say one point.
Yes.
Everybody is talking about loss of revenue to the government. Actually, when NAREDCO and MCHI made a presentation to the government of Maharashtra, we extrapolated that if the same situation continues today, you will get only 10% of the stamp duty that you are actually getting because there will be no transaction.
Yeah, absolutely.
So then we extrapolated that if you were to do it at 2% or 1% actually, then this is the result that will happen. And the indirect benefit that will come in terms of the approval charges and other charges that will be, because GST also 50% GST goes to the state government. So actually, I really compliment the state government that they understood this whole thing. The ACS Finance, Manoj Saunik and Dr. Karid both understood this point very, very clearly. That this is the most important thing. So thank you so much. I'm sorry.
Mr. Hiranandani, I was asking you, would you like to answer? Do I repeat the question?
Yeah, please.
Completed flats ready to move in is what is under is more in demand. Do you see developers now pushing to complete the projects, or you think all projects will be picked up?
No, I think the benefit will go to all the projects because the stamp duty applicability is for all the projects.
Right.
But in the case of completed project, there's a double incentive to the customer, namely that you're saving GST of 5%. Plus you're reducing the stamp duty by 3%. So I think you have a 8% benefit, which is coming straight away to the consumer. And I'm not counting the extra, which may be available to you otherwise for the schemes in the semi-rural areas. So what is the main important factor is that there is an adequate or more than adequate incentive for a person to now go and buy and close transaction. The two dates which have been given, which Nayan Bhai really mentioned it very clear, was the idea is to put a sunset date to it. Just like you say, sale for these products in 1 month or 2 months. In this case, you have given up to 31st December because it takes a little longer time to choose apartments because the budgets are longer. You have to get sanction of the banks for financial EMIs and other things. So you need more time to close transaction. But otherwise, people should go and immediately start looking for the premises that we need. For the completed projects, there is a double advantage. That's why it's a bigger advantage for a consumer to look at those. So the unsold flats, obviously the developer will really look forward to close these transactions better today than they would have been done in the past. And so will the consumer. But remember, not everybody is capable of buying a ready flat. So they want installments. So that part of it also will be beneficial. You register the agreements and pay the installments over a period of time. Both the categories will benefit, but obviously the people who buy completed projects have a double benefit in terms of GST as well as in the case of stamp duty benefit that is there. So 1 + 1, double whammy.
Yeah. And today we've seen that a lot of people, especially post-COVID, people have realized that smaller houses are not really their thing because there's going to be an extended period of working from home and people are looking to upgrade. Now, while you have to sell one and buy another to upgrade, a lot of people have found that that process takes too much time. Do you see both moving in tandem?
Oh, it's a lovely question, Jayashree. I'm glad you asked it. We are finding 3 categories.
Yeah.
Category 1, which is looking at affordable housing, where they're actually barely able to make it to the first house. That's the challenge. So in that category, these upgrade question doesn't come out at present. The second category is those people who have an apartment, but actually because husband and wife are both working, the work from home has now started for one of them or both of them. The children are also doing their studies at home because it's an online teaching platform that is over there. So suddenly, when everybody was in school or off at work, now all 4 of them have crowded into the house, which was fine in the good old days where you had 2 children into 1 bedroom, a couple others, and you didn't need separate rooms for their studies or work from home thing. Those who can afford to move to the next level and afford to pay the EMIs into the segment are scrambling to look at larger flats. However, you're right, Jayashree, there is a question of how do you do both? Now, many of the financial institutions are providing bridge loans available to you for holding the first apartment, taking the security and surety of both the husband and wife, going into a larger apartment, and hence giving more time in order to do the EMIs would be escalated over a period of time. So many of the banks and financial institutions do come up with these bridge ideas. So automatically more and more people are going to be able to get into the affordable segment to upgrade their houses, so to say, or expand their size of homes to do it. Lots of people are looking for that, Jayashree. It's an unbelievable number which has taken place. Everybody thought that the lockdown would be 1 month, 2 months at the most, 3 months. No, it won't be so long. And now we've got 6 months and we still don't know when it's really going to end as far as this is concerned. And if your employer says work from home, then what happens? So I think the requirements are going to expand in terms of larger residential space. And there are availability of schemes and funds which will help it. And there are developers who will help them if you're doing within the same project to help them to sell the earlier flats.
Suresh, phone chalu.
Will you see developers pushing for their own customers to upgrade within their own properties?
Me too.
Yeah, good. I have always been maintaining that developers need to do that because consumers, if there's a level of trust between a developer and the consumer, they do like to go ahead with that same developer into a bigger flat.
Jayashree, let me assure you and let me tell you a secret. 30% of my existing customers, new customers, come from a flock or referred to or relatives of my old customers. Because of the satisfaction customers, 30% of my existing business today doesn't come from outside. It doesn't come from any brokers or agents or channel partners, which we have plenty. But it comes from existing bank of consumers that I have. They are the ones who give this. So it's always the upgrade and other things and references of these people which actually create the goodwill into the marketplace.
Virendra, what are you seeing? What is the new demand, the sizes of demand and the configurations of demand that you think will immediately pick up in the Maharashtra market?
Sure. So we've already seen a rising demand for larger houses. As Niranjan Bhai and Nayan Bhai were saying that people are spending a lot of time at home. So you have realized that there is a need to upgrade. So fence sitters who were previously seeing, say, a 2 BHK are now looking at a 2.5 or a 3 BHK. So that is the requirement, because I need a dedicated workspace, or I need a dedicated space for my kid to study from it. I mean, 3 of us can't be sitting in one room and, doing con calls and doing online education. So across cities, we are seeing a demand for higher units. I would say in Maharashtra, yes. In Mumbai, Pune obviously has larger flats availability, and in terms of the capital values, Pune is better priced than Mumbai because of whatever the reasons being, because Mumbai is land crunched, there is sea on the other side. So in Pune, we are seeing people wanting to upgrade to even a 3.5 BHK. So previously, people who were looking at 2.5 are now going to 3.5. And also, just to add to it, Pune has a good mix of people employed in the IT/ITS sector, which was already used to doing work from home, and the connectivity and the infrastructure was set. So their per se employability, job prospects, everything doesn't change. So Pune is well poised to, seek benefits out of this, and we will see a larger traction. We have actually seen a larger traction for a higher unit configuration.
Nayan Shah, what is the market for premium properties? For a long time, we felt that while people did want to upgrade, they were waiting because there was no immediate cost to buy now, because they felt that the prices are going to go. And today, with the sunset clause, do you see premium properties coming back into vogue?
Actually, Jayashree, no doubt that the economic challenges due to COVID has resulted in a few people backing out, a very few minority. My personal reading is that there is a good amount of liquidity in the hands of the customers today. There is a good amount of liquidity. I think it is like the move, that नहीं अभी मैं घर लेने जा रहा हूं, मैंने नक्की किया है कि मुझे घर लेनी है. जैसे हम कोई नई भी गाड़ी चेंज करनी हो तो काफी दिन से सोचते हैं, 6 महीने से, साल भर से, 2 साल से, नहीं गाड़ी को मैं रिफर्बिश करूं या नहीं लूं, ये करूं वो करूं. फाइनली वी डिसाइड ऑन वन डे, नहीं आज तो नई गाड़ी अपने को लेनी है. सो आई थिंक नंबर 1, आई एम वेरी क्लियर that the customers have the liquidity. Okay, the interest rates are the lowest ever. All the nationalized banks today are fighting with each other to give them, the best rates. So I feel that for the premium properties also, there will be a big boost that will be coming because of the reduction in stamp duty and the fact that the availability of the money is already there. So that's the whole point.
Can I just add to what Nayan Bhai said?
Yes.
So in fact, I resonate his thoughts, because our luxury team has been the busiest ever. So when we entered the lockdown, our estimates were that, okay, now everything is going to go slow, nothing is going to pick up. We'll be in a big cycle wherein there is no business. But our luxury team has been busy. Primarily, the reason being the target segment in the luxury and premium properties. Their net worth per se is not impacted, though there is a notional impact in terms of the stock market volatility and all that, but the net worth per se is safe, their buying decision is secure, so they are just looking at getting the best deal at this moment. So more so than the affordable and mid, the premium and the luxury market is actually booming. We have seen the best days, in fact, in the last few years for the luxury and premium market. And I think the affordable mid will also be benefited now with this move, because this is the price sensitive segment. So a 3% reduction in stamp duty is really meaningful for affordable to mid guys.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
And one final question to all of you. Do you see this move reflecting in other states as well? What is the mood across the country? Mr. Hiranandani?
Yes, I think we have been representing in all the states across the country. And I think once you have a precedent in Maharashtra, I'm sure the other states will really emulate this example, because they would not like to be seen as behind, other states. Second, it is, it requires the bureaucracy to understand the issue and the economics of the issue. Now that, as Nayan Bhai has correctly put in, the bureaucracy and the government has understood the issues, and that it is actually beneficial, and the collection, as Virendra has also mentioned, is going to go up rather than go down in terms of the total collection by actually reducing the stamp duty, which instigates larger number of transactions, which will actually bring up more collections, and also the downstream other effect, because when the builder buys materials in order to complete the flats and build the building, The GST collection will also go up in terms of input of the materials which are there. Employment takes place. All the other costs and other things are there. Taxes are paid to the government, both other taxes and income tax and local taxes also. So the multiplier effect which is going to take place because of this cut will be, I'm sure, seen by other states in a very proactive manner, which will really beneficially go ahead to do it. So I think super. It's a very good thing. And as all of us have been saying, compliments to the government, compliments to people like Deepak Parekh and the other political parties of Maharashtra for having actually supported the cause, and really look forward to see that this is done. There are a few other things, as we have been talking about, in terms of charges and other things which at the municipal level which will happen, but other states will surely follow. Thank you.
Nayan Shah,
Jayashree, yeah, I would like to say one thing. The Deepak Parekh committee report, which was given to the government of Maharashtra, actually, that report, we will request both NAREDCO and MCHI, Deepak Bhai. Niranjan Bhai, we should do this. Maybe we can go on a con call today evening or tomorrow with Deepak Bhai and request him to forward that report to all the chief ministers of all the states as a joint request by NAREDCO, MCHI and all other associations, and request the chief minister of those states, you know, to take such kind of corrective actions as he has suggested, both on the demand side and the supply side. What do you say, Niranjan Bhai?
Brilliant.
absolutely.
We can do that, I think, and that will, you know, benchmark, and there will be a competition then in all the states, you know, that who's adopting it 100%, 90%, 80%.
Right.
And Nansha, I'm sure you will come to the national level very soon from Maharashtra.
Come on.
And in fact, if you see what's happening at the GST Council, the GST Council meeting is still on. It's the states saying that we don't have enough money, and the states need to understand that to generate money, you have to give away something to get more, right? And that's the message that I would like to take away. Virendra, closing comments from you?
Yeah, so just touching upon what we were discussing, I think definitely other states will kind of replicate this move, because more than, 3% reduction is a great move, but it's also getting positivity back in the market. In these corona times, you know, everyone is just scared, and we have to learn to live with this. You know, so positivity is something which is important, and real estate needed that positivity. So I think the sentiments will now be uplifted, and all states will follow Maharashtra's first move.
Yeah, I really need to close this with saying that Magic Bricks did notice that after the first steep fall in sentiment, when the first lockdown finished, we saw almost a V-shaped recovery in terms of consumer demand. But the conversions have not been as good as the demand. There was no immediate reason to buy. And I think what Maharashtra government has done is, by creating sunset clauses, it said that now, if you want to buy, now's the time to buy, and get on with it. Why don't you buy now? Thank you so much for joining me in the Property Show.
Thank you. Pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you, Jayesh.